Welcome to the PokeShow.
The PokeShow! I'm your host, Hunter Z Infected, with my co-brother here because we don't have co-host. We have co-brothers because we are brothers. Go ahead.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? It's Trainer Josh, aka Josh, and welcome back to another episode of the PokeShow.
And we have a super special guest. Not only is he the very first guest for our podcast, but also he's our very good friend and me personally, my favorite UU player, Brian, aka Bnasty.
Hello, IACL fans out there.
He said the
I'm
line.
back.
Let's go.
He said the line. Brian,
Yes.
I just want to say that you were the very first intimidating player I have ever met in Draft League. Like when I when I first joined IACL, people were always chatting. Josh was like a bot in the chat, and like Lou and Noah and all of them. And then, but when you joined, you hardly ever said anything. And then it seemed like you were the best player there, so you really scared me. And then you got all the way to the championship. And
Yeah, dude, speak softly and carry a big stick.
dude, legitimately scariest player. I thought you were the best player ever for like a solid day or two. And look at us.
That didn't last very long. Oh man, that's funny.
And now,
In this community, though, people who don't talk a lot are scarier. And maybe it goes for most games and gaming in general. But I've certainly felt that in Pokemon over the years.
yeah, kind of like, there's a lot of players like that. But anyway, so Brian, you are, out of the three of us, you know more UU. You know the most UU. And like, me and Josh combined have like 0.1% knowledge on UU. So you've been playing UU, right?
Yeah, I've played a fair bit since the gen came out.
Yeah. So I want to hear your thoughts. What's your favorite top 5 mons right now in UU?
I got a few jank picks and I got a few like legit ones that people know are meta threads.
Jank
But
pits?
I'll start with a jank one. Yeah, no particular order, bro.
Okay.
I really like Scovillain.
Dude,
Not like a phenomenal UU Pokemon. I just really like him, and I think he has a home there, definitely.
hold on. That's a UU Pokemon?
I believe he is actually RU
Yeah,
by
he's RU currently, actually. Yeah, I've seen him there.
I was going to say, there's no way that Pokemon's good enough for UU. Hold on. You use that thing in UU?
I do, and the reason I do it is because, when you're making a hyper offense team, the number one thing you need to be worried about in UU is rain. Basically, rain is, like it's not broken, but it's very strong. They have the auto setter with Pelipper, and they have a lot of threats that they can go into, whether that's Barraskewda or the Floatzel. I guess you could use Tatsugiri if you're feeling frisky. Dreadnought, I mean, that thing has Shell Smash now. It's certainly a pick. It's a good check to anyone who's trying to Talonflame you. But I like the idea of using Sun as a way to get around the ring. You have, you don't have any auto setters. There's no Torkoal. There's no Ninetales, but you have, some decent options to go with your Sun. You can use a Klefki. You can use Grafaiai, although that thing has, really fallen from graces. I use Sandy Shocks because it benefits from the photosynthesis. It can be a lead and set rocks, and Sun as well. And then another great pick, and this is going to be, an actual good UU Pokemon, is Slitherwing. Another photosynthesis user,
Wait.
great priority in first impression.
That thing is UU?
Yeah.
That thing is UU, and it's
I think
quite
it was
strong.
I think it was UUBL in the beginning of the meta, and then I think it just fell to UU. If I'm not mistaken.
Dude, I thought that was an OU mon. Oh, shoot. Okay.
It's gotten popularity in UU because it counters a decent. It counters what's his name, Great Tusk. So people like it for that.
Yeah. Okay. So You've said Scovillain. You said that. What is that thing called again?
Uh, it's called Slitherwing.
Slitherwing.
It's like it looks like Larvesta, but if he had, a giant mohawk. So the design is just elite, right? Like it's so good.
I guess you're right. I've never thought about that. I
Yeah,
just
dude,
considered
the-
like I
one of
thought
the
it was
Volcarona
Volcarona.
clones.
I just thought it was Volcarona like on all fours or like not flying basically, but yeah, it does just look like it's baby form but with a
Dude.
with a lot of hair. Yeah.
Why is it a fighting type?
Dude, I don't know. The game designers this gen. I mean, have you guys ever played Cap? Create a Pokemon?
Yeah, I played it when it like a Gen
Dude,
6.
I was gonna
when
say
it
like
first mentioned it.
Yeah.
30 gens ago, maybe.
Yeah.
They haven't introduced much new Cap stuff since then. But you remember how like every single one just had like weird types?
Yeah, dude.
because
Like
it just used it as an opportunity to make types that didn't exist, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, I feel like maybe someone at Game Freak like saw Cap and was like, "Hey, we're just gonna rip like some of these ideas." Like,
Hold
like
on.
as far as I'm concerned, Grafaiai is basically fidget. Like, I don't know. There's a fire
Say-
poison type now, right? There's the other Volcarona clone.
Yeah,
Well,
the
Salazzle was fire poison
Iron Moth.
previously
Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah, Salazzle.
Iron Moth. I mean, Iron Moth is not that different from Mollix, in my opinion. It's got the, all of the same utility.
I was gonna ask
Um,
if you think there's any Cap Pokemon that are actually like straight ripped that from Nintendo in the new games, because I don't know Cap that like at all. I don't know any of the Capmons.
Yeah, we don't have to go too deep into Cap, but there's a lot of them, right? And they all got these weird typings, and I don't know. It just seemed like in this gen they came out with a lot of like really weird, unique like typing combos that didn't exist before.
I
I
think
don't know
it's
if
really
you guys
cool.
agree.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
they for sure
Oh,
did.
yeah.
What new typings came out? Let's see. There's Grass Fire. There is
Was there a
I-
fire psychic type before this generation?
a Fire Psychic. I'm sure there was.
Oh, Victini.
There
My
we
bad.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Alex special.
the Alex special. Shout out to Alex, by the way, if you're watching this.
What other typings came out? I know there's new typings. Poison normal, right?
I mean, there was a fighting an electric. There's a rock electric.
Was Fighting Electric
Like
brand new? Like actually?
Yeah, before Iron Hands, there was no fighting.
Well, there's
electric.
also because Pawmon's also fight electric fightings. That means they introduced two
Mhm.
electric fightings, but there was nothing before. That's kind of interesting.
Indeed.
Did they introduce?
Yeah, a lot of the Iron Hands and the Greats, or I don't even know, like, what do you call those things? They're version exclusive.
They're
but
they're like paradox mods. I think it's their lore in the games, something like that.
Paradox. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't they introduce fairy fighting in Iron Valiant?
Yeah, there you go. That's like Kerfluffle. That's a cat Pokemon.
I was gonna say, what is what does Kerfluffle evolve into?
No, Kerfluffle is
Is that like
Kerfluffle's a
doubles
final
pre
form.
Evo?
Yeah, Kerfluffle was just Iron Valiant, but it leaned more special, and I think it's a little faster. It's 119 base speed.
Dude, what the heck is a Kerfluffle, dude? Oh,
I
dude,
was-
dude, this thing looks like a Pop-Tart almost.
Yeah, dude, it looks. I think it's like supposed to be like a pillow fight,
You've
like an
oh,
animated like
dude,
pillow fight.
have you? I don't know if either of y'all one of y'all seen the Cartoon Network show where it's like this really weird. First of all, terrible animation, and it's like a robot dude, some human boy, and like this weird chocolate bear monster thing. And it's like the grossest cartoon they ever had. I don't know if y'all ever even.
No, I nothing rings the bell for that.
Well, dude, Kerfluffle looks like the chocolate monster gross thing. Like the turd monster. That's what Kerfluffle looks like. Okay, I'm sorry. That was a tangent.
By the way, I think Low Kicks is also the.
monster. I have to Google.
I think
that.
Low Kicks is the first bug dark type too, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Zarude. Wait.
No, Zarude's grass dark.
You're right. There's no way there wasn't a dark bug before.
There wasn't, bro. You can look it up.
Dark bug? I'm looking it up right now.
Shout out to Brute Bonedo. He isn't the first grass dark type. You're right. Zarude came right before him.
Okay. So Brian, we got Scovillain, we got Slitherwing. Who's next?
I'm gonna have to go with. Does it have to be new, or can it just be anything?
Just any
It could be
UU
anything
month.
within the Gen 9 UU tier.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Salamence on this one, an old favorite.
Dude, I
I
used
know
to
you've always liked Salamence. For as long as I've known you, I think you've liked that Pokemon.
I used
Really like Salamence.
Yeah, I used to think Salamence was broken until I used it, and then I realized it's hot garbage, and I'm never picking it up again. Dude.
Wait, so
Yeah,
what
dude.
does Salamence do now? Is it still Dragon Dance, or do you
It's-
use the special set now? Or
Yeah, it can do both. It lost Toxic and it doesn't have Defog anymore, right? Those are no longer tutorable moves. But Mence it's still got juice as a defensive mon, and you know, on the one hand, yeah, you did lose that utility, but you can just lean more into being, a really fat special tank with. Guess what? Now you can run 3 attacks, and as it turns out, Salamence has a lot of good attacks at its disposal. So you could turn it, you can make it whatever Terra type you like, and give it a lot of defensive utility with Intimidate. And then there's always the classic, Moxie Dragon Dance Sweeper, and that got a boost from Terra as well. And to be honest, since Hydreigon was banned from the tier, I mean, Salamence is now it's the premier dragon setup sweeper, in my opinion.
Is there what's
Dragon
its
set up
competition?
Yeah, had Dragon set up before that? Because Hydreigon doesn't get set up either, so he was always the premier.
Hydreigon is still a nasty plot user.
Oh, he just still get NP? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So is it the best D dancer in the tier?
Yeah. Sadly, Gyarados is comically limited, so I would give that belt to Salamence.
I think Gyarados has utility though with Terra as well, because you can just Terra ground on electric types and you get like a +1 basically for free.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
about 10 minutes before this, I got wrecked by Terra ground.
No, dude, that happened to me. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's such a demon set. I hate it.
Okay, I have a question, Brian. So when I play random battles, every time someone pulls out a Gyarados, they either Terra Flying, D-Dance, and Terra Blast and win, or they Terra Ground on an electric move, D-Dance, and win with Moxie. Anyway, so it's like, how is it not broken in UU? Like, I'm shocked it's not OU.
I mean, no, because there's still stuff like Quagsire floating around, and there's still some fat grasses that can kind of sit on it. I mean,
did Gyarados lose Power Whip, by the way?
Yeah, I believe Gyarados did lose Power Whip, or else I'm actually trolling for running Terra Grass.
Okay, then it did. Okay, I was just wondering.
Dude,
I mean, I'm pretty sure it doesn't have it, or else I would just be running Power Whip.
That's really
no,
maybe
it doesn't get it.
though.
You're good. You're good to go. I fact checked.
Okay.
You're fine. Yeah.
All right, God bless.
Yeah.
Okay, so Salamence, Premier Sweeper. I would argue Mousehold could be a better D dancer. Just saying.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, shout out to Tidy Up, bro.
Let me tidy up real quick.
Yeah, I gotta clean the house before Mom gets home.
It's got the better D dance move at least. I don't know if it's a better D dancer though. Dude,
I mean,
it's
You guys
covered.
think Mousehold's overrated?
I think.
No.
I think.
I think the first 2 weeks of the game it was overrated, but now I think it's settled to where it's supposed to be.
I think it's a really fun mon that they introduced. Both the two moves that got Tidy Up in Population Bomb, and then its design as well. It's a whack design, and it's not strong or anything, so it's like it's fun. I think it's fun.
I think its design is terrible, but I mean, so be it.
Dude, it's a funny design. Do you want one kid or two?
I want none, bro. What are you talking about?
What? Why, Brian? Do you think it's overrated?
It just how that thing was OU at one point. Like how, bro? Like what?
Because it was
But
being
everything was OU.
overused.
Everything was OU at one point, though. So
It's because
Yeah,
it was,
I know, but people were
Wait.
really using it like that. Like,
Okay, I mean, I also didn't play the generation for like the first 2.5 weeks, so I really don't know what it was like to like at the very beginning of the
Yeah,
game.
dude, Brian, this guy just found out about the Uber Delibird earlier.
No, that's not true.
oh,
That's definitely not true.
wait, dude, if
I
that thing was Yu, that would be on my list. That thing's so sick.
It's cool, but dude, honestly, I don't know why it's Ubers. I used it a bit, kind of trash. Okay,
I guess we'll never know. Oh,
okay. Um, Mouse holds coverage. It has crunch. Why do I get bite in random battles? Oh, technician.
technician.
and you
Okay.
can
And,
flinch, bro.
flinch.
30,
Yeah, flinch chance. Elite.
30% flinch.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I did flinch someone with bite on a random battle ladder, and they forfeited right after. All right, Brian, what's your next mon? You got 3 so far.
My next pick is someone who hasn't been Yu in forever because they kept banning him. And his name is Staraptor.
Banning him. Oh, he was always
Yeah.
UUBL.
He was
Raptor
always
has been
He was always BL.
banned
Like,
from Yu and like since Gen 4, every consecutive generation, it falls and it's in this terrible limbo where it's, not good enough to like really see play in OU just because, there's all this fat stuff and there's, good flying resists abound and
Damn Landorus.
stealth rocks when you're taking recoil is not great. But it was too good for Yu. Every single gen they determined that it's just oppressive, banned, one of the broken birds.
So have you been using it a lot?
I've used it a bit, and it doesn't feel insane this time around. I can't quite put my finger on why, but I mean, if I had to give a generic answer, it's just power creep, right? Like every single year with every new game we see stuff we're like, what? How is that down there? Then you realize like, oh yeah, it's right where it belongs, pretty much.
Yeah. Like
Sometimes.
I think about that when I see Slowbro and RU. It was an NU last generation too, though, right? So it's probably gonna be down there again. It's like it still blows my mind. Yeah.
So Staraptor, who even like switches into Staraptor in the tier?
Well, there's Clef Key. There's Alamamola. There's
Hippo.
there's
Hippo's fine.
Hippo. Iron Thorn seems to be a decent switch in unless he clicks CC.
Oh, does anyone run do you see a lot of Shedtail Earthworms running around?
I do, dude. The people like they like to like it's kind of a noob trap, I think. They're like, oh yeah, let's Terra Electric. Like, look at this. It's like it's like a worse version of the Shedinja strategy where it's like, I've got you now. Terra Electric ground immunity.
Wait,
and then I'll pass
hold
my
on.
sub.
You're saying people Terra Electric the Earthworm?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, right. I agree with you. It makes no sense, but they do it.
Because it already has Earth Eater. What?
Yeah, I think.
No, but then they'll become weak to fire. They want to have no weaknesses and then click Shed Tail, is what he's saying.
No.
Yeah.
That's so.
Don't get me wrong. It's bad, but I've seen it. So
that's wild. That is
it's
wild.
not good.
Like more than once is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
All right. What's that? What's your final mon?
Oh man, hard decision. I kind of want to go with Newmon, but I don't know.
I have a question.
All the good Newmons went to OU, the Garganackle and the Skeleturge and whatnot. So
I have a question actually, and it's about one of the new mons, and it's Bramblegast. I see that thing as UU, but how? It does not look good.
So the main thing is removal, right? Defog is no longer tutorable and Rapid Spin is a lot less accessible. Like, think about it. The best actual spinners in the UU tier are like Donphan, Fortress, and Sarina. Like, these are not awesome Pokemon.
Fortress? Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's bleak, right? Like, those are not great picks. You can use them, they're fine. And then I guess some other things you could use are Toad Scroll, that's a spinner, and then like you said, Bramblegast. course, Brambleghast,
Wait, this thing
not that
spins?
bulky. 55, 70, 70. Yeah, it spins, and I guess if you wanted to get cheeky, you have, Wind Rider to be immune to like hurricanes and blizzards and stuff.
Kind
Wait,
of interesting. I didn't know he was immune to that. So he
bl-
walls kill a watch roll. That's
he
funny.
he's immune to blizzard?
Yes. Wind
I,
Rider protects you from wind-based moves, and Blizzard counts among them.
That is
These poor
crazy.
Obama Snow, dude. I played Brambleghast one time. He tried to Blizzard me. He just couldn't.
no.
Of course, Brambleghast can't do anything back to either kill a Watch Roll or Obama Snow. It doesn't hit super hard.
Oh, wait, he doesn't get poltergeist. Oh, that's so sad, dude.
He gets some Ghost Stab, but
He
it's
gets
like
he gets Phantom Force. That's it. And
yeah,
Shadow Snake.
yeah.
This guy.
Oh, dude, if he had poltergeist, he'd be viable. Oh, that's sad. Damn it. He'd be like a slightly worse dummies if he had poltergeist.
Well, he is clearly viable. He's a new you. Right? Like, I'm not tripping.
He's just not that good.
Okay, so he's not that
I
good.
mean, think about how many things he gets wrecked by. Bisharp, wrecked. Salamence, wrecked.
You don't,
Palucha, wrecked.
you don't even have to list them. Like, I know there's a huge
Yeah.
list.
Talonflame, better removal, defog, wreck.
Okay, so while you think about that fifth Mon, I want to ask you about something. And you mentioned it a little earlier, right? And it's about a weather. How like predominant is it within the tier?
I mean, you'll see it. Rain is still, clearly the best and needs to be prepared for on any competent team. And sometimes you can get around it with paratyping. Sometimes you can get around it with Gardevoir, right? Because Gardevoir can trace Swift Swim. And Terra Fairy Moonblast. It's like a truck. So Gardevoir is a decent answer. Obviously, you have Fat Resists like Alomomola and Salamence. Rain is clearly the best, and then everything else is like whatever. I don't see Sand anymore. I don't even know if there's a half decent Sand Rush user worth mentioning. And then
I think there is.
the one
yeah.
the only like Sandrush user that was good that got introduced got banned to Ubers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the only Sandrush
Hound.
user in the game that exists is Lycanroc.
In UU.
Yeah. That's
No,
that's
and
not phenomenal.
he's RU. He's not even UU. Every other one is like doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's so
yeah,
sad.
they're terrible. So you don't see Sand, even though Hippowdon is a strong pick and Tyranitar is as solid as ever, right?
Yeah.
But and then in between that, I mean, I'm biased. I'll tell you Sun is better than Hail. And in a 1-to-1 matchup, I mean, absolutely. But Hail is it's a unique pick, right? Because you do have access to Abomasnow, which gives you access to Aurora Veil. You have access to Slowking, who is, I believe, the only user of Chilly Reception in the game, which is like Teleport, but it sets Hail or Snow now, right?
Yeah.
It's no longer Hail.
Yeah, it's snow. You're right.
And then you have Satitan, who can belly drum. I don't think that's a great strategy in a tier filled with Lucario and Slitherwing priority, but it's something.
And Bisharp.
Yeah, and Bisharp, and so I don't think Satitan's that great, but I did use him a bit, and it's fun. It's an interesting strategy. But honestly, I can't say Sun is that much better because it doesn't have an auto setter. It's the only, there's no drought user accessible to. I mean, they're just not in the game right now, right? No Ninetales, no Torkoal, so I like Sun as like a cute, like, oh yeah, you thought your rain was good? How about this grass fire type? Like, come get it.
It's a Titan looks like it's got the same base as Hariyama almost. It's like interesting.
Yeah,
Just
They'll have you quaking in your boots. That HP stat is enormous. Imagine that on literally anything else.
yeah.
God, what
dude.
a waste. Sorry, Satitan.
Dude, this is actually sad to look at. It also has Sheer Force, y'all, with like Icicle Crash. So
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
dude, Sheer Force, Icicle Crash, Liquidation, Play Rough, and like Ice Shard, Banded. Oh my gosh, that must hit like a truck.
Imagine giving Sheer Force to a ice type that is 73 base speed and it's also an ice type, yeah, it doesn't seem like a good idea. But
All right. Um, Josh, you had a question for Brian, right? When you
I
you were
bel
you were begging me that you wanted to ask
yeah,
it.
yeah, I do have a question for you, Brian. Obviously we've been acclimated to the Generation 9 metagame for about 3 months now, almost. Well, 2 months
Mhm.
actually. I take that back. About 2 months. So, I have a question. Do you think Terra type is oppressive? And if you don't, or if you do, what is your reason?
I'm a little on the fence because I think it's like a fun mechanic and it opens up all these new like, decision trees and like team building like ideas. Like, wow, like if I can make this Pokemon this type, like all of a sudden I can become a really potent sweeper. Or, you know, I can make this wall really oppressive, right? By just changing its typing and, you know, it, I think that is like cool. And then every once in a while you'll see it and you're like, oh wow, like this is gross. Like there's like it really alters the game state, especially if like you don't know what your opponent's gonna bring. Like you could get absolutely wrecked by it.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know. They didn't seem to think it was broken enough in OU. I think it's gonna stick around for a while here, but it's gonna be controversial.
Yeah,
I
I
like
think
it.
I
That
think
is
down
the
the
bottom
road people
line. I think it's
down the road
fun,
people
but
yeah, no, I agree. I think it'll be a thing like Z moves where down the road they'll start to really argue if it's really like ban worthy, in my opinion. But I think Terra typing has opened up a whole level of competition that hasn't been seen since Mega Evolution. And I obviously speak to that in a positive note. Everybody loved Mega Evolution. People always want it back. Like obviously the only way you can really play it now is through like Nat decks. But
yep.
I think Terra type will leave that legacy. I think where once it's obviously forgotten by Nintendo because obviously they want to introduce these new mechanics in every generation. I think people will look back at it like, man, Terra was a really good time, and I'm gonna miss it. Like people don't really miss Z moves. I don't think people really miss
No
what
one
the fuck
misses
was
Dynamax. No
no,
one misses.
Dynamax,
Max. That's
yeah.
what it was called. Nobody misses that. Like, but I think people will look fondly upon Terra types and Terra evolution. And like you said, it really opens up a whole new level of competition and team building. Like, for example, I'm always thinking about how Choice Band and Azu with huge power, now Terra Water Aqua Jet, with like Stack seems like a very awesome idea. Or how ice types are now all of a sudden more viable because you can all of a sudden become like a fighting type that become weak to rocks, but you still have that potent ice stab because you don't lose that stab, while also boosting a secondary. Like Beartic can now be like a swift swim superpower user, but still sport icicle crash and not be weak to stuff rock. I think that has viability, and that's just like the tip of the iceberg. And obviously there
No pun
are
intended.
no pun intended. I wanted to say it, but I was hoping you would fill in the blank. But there, there, there are Pokemon, and there are times where you're like, man, I, I feel like Terra typing is pretty broken. Like for Gyarados, for example, we were just talking about that mon where you can literally have an Electric type in, and all of a sudden you just lose because you follow the rules, you play by the book, and they pull out Terra Ground Gyarados, and you're like, well, what the hell was I supposed to do?
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, well, you just check it defensively with like Quagsire or Lomomola or some other like Brute Bonnet or Amoonguss, stuff like that. But
I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, it's just one more thing that needs to be accounted for in team building. And when I watch your guys' YouTube videos, I am an avid viewer of them. I mean, you guys talk through your in-game decision making, and you're correctly anticipating, you know, what Terra types my opponent might pull out. Like what's popular, what's common, and you're deciding, okay, should I Terra here or not? Like it, do I need to do this right now to not absolutely lose, or is it more valuable to save it for something else later?
yeah, now that you mentioned that, it definitely doesn't feel as oppressive as like in Gen 8 where if you clicked your Dynamax first, you just lost. I feel like there was no coming back because then you're completely in the hand of your opponent just clicking their Dynamax button and just winning the game. Same could almost be said for Z moves, but I don't feel like it was as oppressive if I recall correctly. But with Terra typing, yeah, it's certainly a variable where you have to play around it, but nowhere near game losing to where if you misplay a Terra typing, About 90% of the time. Obviously on Gyarados, that's like an exception. Other setup sweepers, it's an exception. But like I said, it's very fun. And it almost makes Pokemon like a mega evolution. It gives them a mega variable to where all of a sudden they're so much better than what they used to be. Like on ice
Mhm.
types or there's other Pokemon I'm like completely blanking out on. But like I've seen like Noivern, for example, can run Boom Burst, and obviously you have Infiltrator. You can even do it with. There's another Boom Burst user that's not Dunsparce. I'm blanking out. Oh, I've seen it on Toxtricity. You can run Terra Normal Toxtricity now with its ability, and that hits really really hard.
It's so strong.
Yeah.
It seems like so far the approach has been, at least in UU, they're not really looking at Terra type. They just look at the the users of Terra type that are potentially broken. So that was the case with Esperanza. That thing was really oppressive. It had what, maybe 3 different Terra types it could pick from, and then
It's
Hydreigon.
arguably broken in OU. I can't even imagine
Yeah.
UU.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. And it was there forever, dude. I mean, good god.
Yeah.
We had like what, 1 month of UU beta, and it just wouldn't go away.
I can't imagine because like the best counter I could think of would be like Bisharp, but you just run Terra Fighting Terra Blast and it's over. Like I don't know. I can't imagine why it stuck so long. Yeah.
I mean, they just, in the beta stage, they just don't ban anything. They just kind of like let the tier play out, let it kind of settle a bit, and then they actually focus on what's going to get banned. And Esperanza, Hydreigon, and another new Pokemon, Baxcalibur, were the first 3
That
on the
thing,
chopping block.
that thing should
All of
be
them were
banned to
oppressive Terra
Ubers.
type users. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask about Baxcalibur. Was he actually like that broken? Because he never seen an OU.
He's busted.
So
He's busted. He's terrible. Dude, get him out of the game. Like, honestly, they should not have introduced this mon. This is my new favorite mon to hate.
Baxcalibur, dude,
Dude, I'm
he,
filled with hate for this mon right now.
he's not good. He's not good.
Oh,
Not in OU. Maybe in UU he was absolutely broken, but he's not good in anywhere else.
I hate Baxcalibur. That's
Yeah,
all.
I think just being a Dragon Dance user that was immune to burn no matter what, and then could change its type favorably, it was a bit much. That's what separates it from like a Gyarados or a Salamence, which would have to change into a certain type to gain whatever status immunity it wanted. Baxcalibur could just, it was immune to burn no matter what because of its ability.
I
Yeah, this variable of Dragon type Terra, we've seen it with Dragonite, and like you've just mentioned, like 2 or 3 other Pokemon. It's an interesting vacuum of Pokemon that really abuses situation. This new mechanic, I never really thought about it till you like brought it up because I guess you see it more with just Dragonite and OU, but then in UU you have what was Baxcalibur and you have Gyarados and Mence. You even have Charizard who could do it. Not that you're gonna see it do it, but it can. Like, yeah, it's interesting now that you like bring it up.
now
This is a little bit off topic, but Josh mentioned every single mechanic that's been introduced since Generation 6. And all of those, with the exception of Dynamax, are playable in that deck, I'm pretty sure. And I just don't know how that metagame is going to survive.
wait, even
If Game Freak adds a new mechanic every gen.
even Dynamax?
Well, Dynamax
Well,
got banned, so you
Dynamax is
can't
the
play it.
exception, yeah.
Yeah. If it
But
wasn't
Oh,
banned, you could though. Technically, I would imagine.
but now you have Z moves, Terra type, and
Megas.
Megas all running around. So it's like, how is this gonna, like, this is gonna overflow at some point. There's gonna be like too many mechanics overlapping to keep track of that weren't coded to
Yeah.
like originally be together.
Dude,
Like Matt Dix is a living example of what could have been if Nintendo truly just let it happen and never coded these things out of the game, which is fun, but also like really oppressive and almost cancer to some
we
extent.
we need a tier where it's like they allow Dynamax, they allow Mega, they allow Z moves, and they allow Terra, just like all together, just like some kind of random tier. Anything
Well,
goes.
isn't anything goes? Yeah, I'm sure you
No,
could do that. Though, right?
I think anything goes banned. Or doesn't have Dynamax, unless it does. Unless there's like a Nat. I don't know. Actually, I really don't know.
If anything goes doesn't allow Dynamax, that's really weird in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know because
I have no idea.
I've never seen it ever, so
'Cause
maybe it truly isn't allowed.
I played we played with the Shedinja and anything goes net decks. Remember? There was no
I didn't see Z moves though, and Z moves
no
allowed.
Z
So.
moves, no Dynamax. I don't remember them. There must be some other tier or something. Brian, so how familiar are you with the OU metagame?
Only from what I watch, basically. So
Okay.
not very.
Okay, so you know how OU is kind of like ran by mostly new mons right now. Like 10 of the top 10 mons are like 8 of them are Gen 9 Pokemon. Like you know that?
Top 10 by like usage or just the best
Viability.
ones?
Just
Yeah,
like
by
By
viability.
ability.
viability, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're like
All right.
dominant in OU right now. Golden Go, Garganical, Champao, etc., etc. How is that? That's not so much the same in UU, right? Like it's not as
No, I think
predominantly.
there's some good ones. I think there's some good new mons, but you know, again with the power creep, you have all these new mons rising to the top of OU, and it's since the tiers are usage based, it's pushing, a lot of stuff that was formerly good, but it's not as much of a new toy at the moment. Like it's pushing it down to UU. So there's a lot of like good stuff down here that's not normally accessible. I think Salamence and Staraptor were good examples of that. Although they have been UU at different points. It's
Yeah,
not always been the case.
yeah. And then also, how many Quagsires and Gastrodons do you run into that have Stealth Rocks and Spikes?
I feel like it's nearly all of them. I don't know if Quagsire is like the rock setter on a stall team because I would just assume that stall runs Quagsire to check sweepers, but every Gastrodon I see I feel like has rocks and spikes. I mean, it can't run Scald anymore, so might as well just give it more utility somehow.
Yeah.
But they run the new move, the Chilling Water.
Chilling water.
Oh
Yeah. So
yeah,
you lower
Bing
the attack
chilling
stat.
water, dude.
Yeah.
That's like
Being chilling.
it's the new Scald, except it works 100% of the time instead of 90% of the time like Scald.
Yeah,
um,
oh yeah, dude. You guys remember when UU and Gen 6 had a phase? There were so many like water types. There was Mola, there was Suicune, I mean
I
there were
remember the
other things.
Suicune phase specifically. Yeah.
And they actually had a separate UU ladder called UU parentheses no scald. There was an
are
official
you
ladder on
serious?
Pokemon Showdown. This
I
is
didn't.
real. You could look this up.
I did not know that. Wait, I'm looking this up. What?
Dude,
Yeah.
I did not know about this.
No
Yeah,
scald.
it was they didn't want to straight up like because they don't really suspect test move, right? Like
I,
that's not
yeah.
what they do over at Smogon. They do individual Pokemon generally.
I
Right.
found it.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. This Smogon post is from March 13th, 2015. It's almost 8 years ago. Yeah. They introduced the no scald UU ladder. Yeah. And then you see like Nails, who's pretty avid on here still.
That's
Had some other people talking about
crazy.
it. Yeah. That is crazy. Yeah.
I know, dude. That's a classic. And now we actually have UU no scald because there's no Volcanion here.
Oh, true. Yeah. Volcano doesn't exist yet. But he's coded in the game, right? So I guess we will be getting him eventually. But whatever.
Yeah, eventually he'll be around.
Yeah. It's also kind of interesting that we're getting these, like, it's not even DLC. We're really just getting random announcements from Nintendo that we're going to be getting new Pokemon. Like, I don't know if you heard, but Greninja's coming back next week. So it'll be interesting to see how he shapes up OU or wherever he decides to fall.
Dude,
But he'll probably be OU.
hope
be
he goes to
honest.
UU. That'd be a surprise.
Every Protean user so far, though, has been stuck in OU. So that's just my assumption.
You think Kecleon's gonna be stuck in OU?
I don't think he's going to be in the game, dude.
They just forgot about him.
Yeah, no, he's stuck in. I don't even think was he even in Gen 8? I don't even know if he was, dude. I don't think so.
I
I think-
couldn't tell you.
I think it's 2 games now he's been forgotten. I'm pretty sure he was not in Galar.
Okay, Brian, there's 2 mons I want to ask you about because I'm really curious about how they're doing in UU. And the first one is Iron Jugulus, because that thing seems really strong.
I've been looking at Iron Jugulus this whole time too, and I have not heard Brian talk about it. Yeah, I'm interested too.
You would think that it's like a straight up Hydreigon replacement, but it doesn't slot in, perfectly into what Hydreigon used to do. It's just a completely different Pokemon. Like it's strong, but it's not like game breaking or meta defining, in my opinion.
It's just another Hurricane user. You're basically.
It's fun on raid teams where you could just spam 122 base power Hurricanes and you got 108 base speed.
Oh,
But
dude, UU Rain. Honestly, I would love to use that with Iron Juculus.
I saw an OU for a good bit. It was good there.
Because
I'm sure in UU it's just as fun.
Pelipper, Iron Jugulis, Barraskewda in
Well,
UU.
Pelipper isn't in UU. He's banned.
No, he's in UU.
Oh, he's right there.
You can use
They have,
rain.
they
You
have
can use
not.
auto
Yeah,
rain sitter. I cannot believe they
yeah,
haven't banned that. What? But
yeah,
Torkoal
dude.
is OU only because of usage though. He's actually been used a lot. Oh
And
wow, it sucks.
also, Sun is better.
I guess so. I guess
No,
that's what that ultimately proves, right? Sun is actually better according to usage.
I guess, dude. It
I mean,
it,
also there's
it all
more.
it all
There's
breaks down to
better.
More
who
The
can
quirks.
abuse
abusers.
it, right?
It comes down to the better
Yeah.
quirk drive users or whatever it is. Like Dawnfat, Great Tusk abuses Sun, not Rain, for example.
Also,
Yep.
this tier has the Tauros, Paldean Tauros or whatever. Put that on Rain. Boom. Oh, this is
Yep.
sick.
I was wondering earlier, like why the water ones you and the fire ones are you. I think the fire one's actually better, personally.
I like the fire one better. But they both do very similar things. They're tanky, and they give you utility to your team. You think of like Tauros Paldea, it's basically like a Poliwrath, like on the physical side. Like you could really like sit on some hits with the intimidate and the good typing.
Dude, a couple. It was actually in one of my videos, so you might know. But I faced a Will-O-Wisp like defensive Tauros with Stone Edge for Volcarona, like, and it was decent. Like because it had body press too, so like it's not like it hit like a paper. It didn't hit like a wet paper bag. It actually hit decently hard. It's kind of fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I do like the fire one more. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. The other mon I was really curious about is Wo-Chan. Wo-Chan. Wo-Chan.
I hit the whoa, Chen.
How is he doing in the tier?
Um, he's fine. He's just hella fat, right? He can sit on a lot of stuff, and if you need a rain answer, like that's a good place to start. It's not gonna live every single hit, but I mean, oh boy, is he a beefcake?
Okay. I wish
I
he
thought
got
he was really
recovered.
bad when the gen started, but he's
I,
he's fine. Like he's actually quite solid.
I think a lot of people thought he was bad when the gen started.
I actually really like Wo-Chan. I've been on his hype trade since the beginning.
Dude, I don't understand why you didn't get recovered. I think that's not cool.
Well, imagine if like Ting Lu got recovered. That's all you need to know.
That thing should have. Dude, why does Chan Pao get recovered? That's what I don't get.
Because he's never gonna be a wall, so it's fine. He never clicks recover. He'll never ever click it.
But you would think they've got like similar moves amongst the three of them.
But they
Or
all
I
get
mean,
ruination, right?
I mean, four of them. Yeah, they all get
Yeah.
ruination. They get a bunch of like stab moves that aren't the dark stab, and
But does that mean did Chi get recovered too, or is it
no,
literally just Qian Pao?
it's only Chan Pao.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
They saw it was an offensive ice type, so they just knew he was never gonna click it. But they're not gonna give it to the other guys who are actually fat. Well, outside of Chiyu. Yeah.
Watch in like I don't know, whenever VGC is, like there's gonna be some high leverage game where the Chien Pao clicks recover.
And
Just
what?
watch,
It
dude.
wins.
Speaking of like the quad legendaries, did you hear that we recently found out that the abilities actually cancel out? Therefore, let's say there's a Chien Pao and a Chien Pao in the field, you don't lower each other's defense stats at all. You're actually neutral.
Wait, what?
Oh, so it's kind of like the Xerneas Yveltal Zygarde
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Yeah, except if the two are on the field together, there's nothing happens. Like there's nothing lowered. No stats are lowered, and you guys are basically of no ability.
If it's a
that-
Chan Pao versus Chan Pao, no one gets their ability lower, or their
No one gets
defense
their
lower.
defense lowered. Yeah, same goes for Chi Yu. So people were like memeing that AV Chi Yu was the answer all along, and we didn't know it.
That's that's funny.
Yeah, but we didn't know it, so we played Showdown incorrectly for the longest time. I don't think it really makes a difference.
It
I
literally
think
made no difference.
I,
Hold on.
I think Chi Yu would still get banned,
So
but yeah.
you're saying Ting Lu up against Chi Yu was like
I don't know about opposing legendaries, but I want to say yes, they did cancel each other out.
right now? Oh, so we only know for sure if they were like mirrors. Like Chi Yu versus Champao, they'd still lower, but only Chi Yu versus Chi Yu it wouldn't lower.
Yeah, I mean, I could look at the tweet. I saw it on Twitter, dude. Here.
Okay.
You could talk about something else. I'm gonna look
Yeah.
for this.
Brian, so do you have your fifth mon yet? Have you decided upon it?
I do. I think it's maybe the most busted one in UU right now. It's Gengar,
Gengar?
and I don't know if he can go away, bro, because like all of this like extreme speed, first impression priority, like he is certainly a valuable like answer to that.
Oh my
But I
gosh.
mean, Gengar is he's just oppressive. The spec set, I mean, I talked about Grafai earlier and how he's completely fallen off. Yeah, that dude just gets killed by Specs Gengar, and knockoff is not even a guaranteed go back. Like your spread is like
From
doesn't matter. You're speed tying him anyway. It's not a Gengar check.
you're saying
He's
Sludge
he's
Bomb to a
finally learned.
KOs?
Yeah, Sludge Bomb. Did I say Shadow Ball?
No.
He's immune to that.
No,
But Sludge Bomb is just a straight up 2 KO on
you
your
didn't
Grafai if you don't invest.
you
Oh
didn't
wow, that's crazy.
And if you go all into HP, I mean you're not even killing with knockoff anymore, so it's worthless.
so
And you'll still die with any amount of chip.
are all Gengars like choiced?
Gengar can be choiced. He doesn't have to be though, because
I mean,
some of
Nasty
them
Plot
like to
too, right?
use. Yeah, some of them like to use Nasty Plot. Hex and Will-O-Wisp is a popular strategy to like, break down the really fat Spadef walls like a Spadef Hippo or something.
Oh, do any run T
Um,
spikes?
I have yet to see a Toxic Spikes Gengar. I guess if you like really wanted a fourth move on your spec set and you didn't need Trick or
Yeah, I
Toxic
mean,
Spikes.
it would be like a Specs Greninja when they would run spikes too
I
of
was
their
gonna
own.
say the exact same thing. It'd be like
The,
a
the,
Greninja.
the only issue is that T Spike is very easily rid of because you just need your own poison type. Spike you need to actually get rid of via spin or defog, so that's a little different.
Yeah, there's just not a ton of like good like ghost resist, and the ones that do exist, Tyranitar and Wo-Chien and Grafia, either just get popped by stab or coverage in the case of Titor, Focus Blast, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say Focus Plus. Yeah, and obviously the Pursuit nerf, obviously just not being in the game anymore, just makes Tyranitar way less reliable as an answer because you just switch in and then
Mm-hmm.
that's it. Yeah, you know.
All right, so
That's all it takes.
last thing, before we end it, Brian, can you repeat your top 5 one more time, just so we got it in our heads? You said no particular order too.
No particular order. My personal favorite is Skull Villain. He gets the points for design and unique typing, and just because I like the Sun teams as an anti-meta pick.
Uh huh.
Slitherwing, because he's actually like really good. And again, points for design. He just looks awesome, right? Mohawk Larvesta. Um, then Staraptor, finally free from the clutches of UUBL. He's back, baby. He's in UU. He's pretty good. Go ahead and use him. Salamence, just another longtime favorite of mine who is a really strong pick in the OU tier currently as either a Dragon Dancer or as a fat tank thanks to Roost and Intimidate and Terra typing. And then my last pick was the Gengar, probably the strongest one in the tier. Probably. Don't quote me on that. He's really good though. Use Gengar.
Okay. Anything else you want to say, Brian?
I'll wrap it up there. I do not upload on my channel anymore, but please go show my old videos some love. Please enjoy the blaring intro. I have some playthroughs of some, ROM hacks on there. And then for nostalgia's sake, there's some videos I had to re-upload when the old channel got obliterated. So go ahead, check those out. The YouTube channel is called Bnast. It should have a flexing Buzzwole as its picture. And yeah, I just want to put that in there.
Well,
And thank you guys for
yeah.
letting me be the first guest.
Yeah, no, thank you for joining us here today, Brian. Bnasty.
Thank you for
And
saying yes. Honestly, yeah, it means a lot.
yeah, and
You
well,
got it, guys.
we appreciate everyone watching or listening to our second episode of the PokeShow Podcast. Be sure to leave a like, especially if you listened all the way to the end here, and we'll be sure to make our content even better, right, Josh?
Yes. By the way, yeah, it's just opposing Pokemon of the same ability. So yeah, like Chi versus Chi, Wolchen versus Wolchen,
Okay.
Chienpao versus Chienpao. Yeah.
All right, thank you for the clarification. And again, thank you, Brian, for joining us. Be nasty. And yeah,
Yep.
y'all have a good one.
Peace.
Peace out, guys.